Hey, everybody, we're live. Sorry it took so long for me to go live. Uh, as I was getting water in the kitchen, I went to the bathroom and noticed that it was clogged, the toilet. One of my kids clogged it up, so I had to fix it. Anyways, welcome everyone to the live stream. My name is Jason. What do we title this one? This one is called The Universe is Mind Alone. Let me get my Kongan book. 1 second. Good to see you all. And some of you know that lately when I've been doing these live streams, I've been picking content out of this book, The Whole World's a Single Flower, 365 Kongans for Everyday Life. There's just things that are catching me lately, so I decided to talk about them. This one I want to talk about today to me is one of my favorite teachings and probably my favorite teachings, but still not complete. We'll talk about that. Anyways, let's go to the chat and see what's happening. Cesare, as always, was here first. Cesare says, hello, everyone. That was, let's see, 20 minutes ago. No, my math's not right. Anyways, hello, Cesare. Good to see you. John, oh my gosh, that's different. I'm on time. That's the first. John's here. Hey, John. Good to see you. Again, I guess I saw you this morning, 6 hours ago, actually. Some of you know I do a live stream practice for the Quantum Online Sangha every Thursday at 6 a.m. Pacific time. Anybody can join that, by the way. How do you get to that link? If you go to jasonquinzen.com and if you look at the homepage, go all the way to the bottom, you'll see live events. I don't even think I put this live event in there. Darn. So we'll see who comes. I haven't been very good at announcing these things. I know I sent an email letting know people about this live stream. I guess if you're subscribed to my channel, you get a notification. But I didn't say anything to the Patreon community, and I didn't put it on my website. Anyways, I guess some people are here, so that's good. I'm glad to see that you all are here. So Cesare said, that's cool. I guess responding to John. Oh my gosh, look who's here, Tom. Unbelievable. I can't remember the last time you were at a live stream, Tom. It seems like it's been a long time. A year? More than that. Tom says, good evening, and meow from Germany. Ricky. Ricky's here. Hey, Ricky, great to see you again. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. We have Leo here. Hey, good to see you, Leo. Also, welcome back. Good evening, everyone. I have to remember people's time zones. I think most people tuning in are from Europe. That's because, besides me and John, usually people are working. How's the video quality doing? I'm getting a signal here that connection is fairly good. If you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging into your router. I'm not on Wi-Fi anymore. I'm going direct, so I know the internet's good. But if the quality is good, we can move on. Sally's here. Hey, Sally, good to see you. Hello, Jason and everyone. Blessings from London, UK. And Adam's here and gave a, what is this called? A super sticker, super chat. Thank you so much, Adam. And thank you for reminding me that this is an option to support this YouTube channel and this live stream. I know people support my YouTube channel in many different ways. Some people are doing it on Patreon. Some people are doing it as Adam's doing it. He's also on Patreon, I guess. Let's see. Cesare, yeah, but what is mind? Okay, maybe we can get into that. I guess because this is called The Universe is Mind Alone. See, Jammin Jones is here. Hey, Jammin. Hi, Jason. Good to see you. Sally said, yeah, what is mind? So this is, I think, why this is an important teaching to look at. I'll get into it soon. I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but I usually read everything in the chat because, as you know, some people who are on YouTube cannot see comments from Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you cannot see the comments on YouTube. So I'm just reading them all. Let's see here. Irene Knit. I never know if I'm saying that right. I do know you. It's good to see you. Hi, Jason and all. Brewing tea. Good. And Sally is saying it's 8 p.m. here in UK. Wonderful. If you haven't already, let us know in the chat where you are living. Again, this is the Universe is Mind Alone live stream. We're going to get into this teaching. It actually comes from the Huayan Sutra. There's different names for this. Let me see. I guess Avantamsaka Sutra. Let's see. In English, this would be translated to something like the Flower Garland Sutra. I'm not sure if that's important, but it is a very popular sutra in the Mahayana tradition. So this line, the universe is mind alone, is coming from the sutra. So just to give it a little bit of context, I'm sure you can search it up if you want to do it. Just see if we got it. You got it. See, now I don't remember what I said. Irie Knit. I know it's not Erie. Boy, I could be messing this up again. Anyways, let's move on. So I want to introduce the teaching. Now, I found this teaching, well, I guess I chanted this teaching. So if you practice in the Quantum School of Zen and you chant the morning bell chant, you're reciting some lines from the Huayan Sutra. Now, the thing I'm about to share is coming from The Whole World's a Single Flower. Let me see what Kongan number that is. So if you do have the book, you can reference this as well. It's number 26 in this book, and it's called All Things Are Created by Mind. Cesare, it's a sutra which many lineage sing daily. Okay, like the Heart Sutra, Great Dharani. Yes, that's correct. By the way, feel free to comment or ask a question anytime. This is also a chance to ask any questions you may have about Zen, meditation, practice, any kind of questions, okay. So let's take a look at this teaching. All things are created by mind alone. The Huayan Sutra, Avantamsaka Sutra, says, if you wish to thoroughly understand all Buddhas of the past, present, and future, then you should view the nature of the whole universe as being created by mind. Now, let me get this in here. Yeah, that's good enough. I think it's important too, sometimes, is to read it while you're listening to it. So let me repeat that again. The Huayan Sutra, Avantamsaka Sutra, says, if you wish to thoroughly understand all Buddhas of the past, present, and future, then you should view the nature of this whole universe as created by mind. I know a lot of people are very satisfied with this kind of teaching. And I'm wondering, just curious, if you want to participate here, when you read this, what is the first thing that comes up for you? Because I've had a lot of people come to me and tell me about this teaching and feeling comfort in this teaching. Like, yeah, this is why there's suffering in this world. This is why things are the way they are. Right? There's some comfort. Oh, yeah. The reason why the world is the way it is because everything is created by mind, this whole universe. And I guess if you study Buddhism or practicing Zen, you will find people really investigating suffering. I mean, this is the whole Buddhist teaching, right? The truth of suffering, why we suffer, there is a way out, and how to get out of the suffering. And if you really look at our perspective of life, that means perspective of this world, what's happening, maybe the perspective of who we think we are or what we are, is all held in mind. If we experience any kind of emotion, whether that's happiness, sadness, anger, greed, jealousy, all created by mind, within this mind. Yeah, a lot of people are always pointing the finger. You made me angry, or you make me happy. But really, if we investigate that closely, we know that that's not true. So I find people start really diving in deep to the source of suffering, especially when it comes to mind, because two people already asked, well, what is mind? We have clear mind, diluted mind, true mind. What is it? John says removing the six dust. That's interesting. So let's kind of dive into this a little bit more. Ricky, the Lankavatara Sutra is also about this very same topic. The only sutra that Bodhidharma brought with him to India. Yeah, you notice if you look at Buddhist teachings, they're really saying the same thing. Some of it's very simple, some of it's very complex. And that's because everybody's different. Everybody has different karma and different, I guess, levels of understanding. Even the Buddha mentioned that. I think he said there's 84,000 types of mind, so he has 84,000 kinds of teaching for each mind, which leads me to another koan. Maybe I'll get to that if I remember. Again, if you're just joining us, welcome to the live stream. The universe is mind alone. So what I find people doing is looking into mind. Now, this is kind of a, let's say, Eastern way. Let's see if I can make myself smaller. I'm too big. Maybe an Eastern philosophy look at consciousness like this, which creates this mind. So the first six, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. These six consciousnesses. I think I read first about this probably in the Compass of Zen. And Zen Master Sung Song was talking about when a baby is born, these six consciousnesses are very clear, right? The eyes are very clear, the ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So the body is this functioning, the mind is this natural thinking, I guess, in some way, or operation of the mind for basic functions of the human existence, right? So when a baby wets its diaper, it starts to cry. In the baby's mind, there's not good or bad, or damn, I peed my pants again. There's just a sensation and a reaction. So these six consciousnesses are very clear. Now, again, in kind of Eastern philosophy, if somebody's blind, that means their eye consciousness is not working. Or somebody cannot hear, their ear consciousness is not working. So this is kind of the essential consciousnesses of a human being. TMS, regards to Jason. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Good to see you. Hey, Kevin's here. Good to see you, Kevin. Kevin says, hi, all. Tom says the mind model stems from Yogacara school. That's what's interesting about Buddhism is it's all influenced from the Indian religion at that time and culture. And if you look at Buddhism in different countries, it's really influenced by the culture. When I was in Korea, Taoism was strong, and also shamanism. When I went to sit a 90-day retreat in the mountains, there was a lot of shamans out on the mountain doing their thing. And they have the mountain gods. And there's even a small shrine, I guess, or altar at the temple I was sitting in that was dedicated to the mountain gods. So everything is borrowed from each other, which is good. But again, it's like, well, let's get to the source of what all of this means. So at the seventh consciousness, this is what I read as the discriminating consciousness or conscious. So let's go back to the baby, having very basic sensations and perceptions. Then later, I'm not sure what the age is. I notice it within my kids, maybe after they started talking and thinking. So around 2, kind of this self or this ego is starting to appear very clearly. We have our experience, and then we have this world. So this is why the seventh consciousness is discriminating, meaning we create the strong sense of self. Now the whole world is separated. I'm over here having this experience from these things out there. So again, this is where all of this is coming into. So Sally is saying, by mind, do you mean thoughts and emotions or ego and identity? So yeah, there's this kind of raw thinking. Again, if you think of a baby, and this will be interesting too, to talk about, is what kind of thoughts do babies have and what kind of emotions? Now they have sensations. I'm sure if you study this, you can get in this deeper, but I think it's going to stray away from the point of all of this. But the seventh consciousness, Sally, is definitely this state of self and making the opposites world. So if I see something, I have some kind of experience. Maybe like I said at the beginning of the stream, I went to the toilet and one of my kids clogged it. So, I'm spending minutes kind of solving the problem. But my first initial reaction, I saw it with the eye consciousness. Then the discriminating consciousness came in. Who in the hell didn't flush the toilet? This is disgusting. I got to get on the street. So Sally says, baby don't have thoughts. Interesting. So this mind appeared. And now I'm remembering this experience, which leads to the eighth consciousness, which is the storehouse consciousness. So at least we can say since you were born. Now, some people believe in reincarnation. I'm not going to get into that topic here. So maybe lifetimes ago, but we can at least say since you were born, everything is stored in this storehouse consciousness. Everything. Sometimes we don't have access to it, but it's there. And sometimes it comes out at the most unusual times. Especially I remember when I was sitting 90-day retreats, some very unusual things would appear that I remembered from a long time ago. I've been talking to my kids a lot about dreams, and my son had a nightmare. And it was interesting. It was like, because the dream was crazy, as most dreams are, but it was all relevant to things that have happened. Let me see if I can remember what he was saying. So something was happening, and it was like a Minecraft situation, but we were in Las Vegas, and his friend was with him. And when we kind of look back at it, it was like, okay, yeah, Miles and I were just in Las Vegas a few weeks ago. Him and his sister have been getting together and playing Minecraft together. And he recently saw a friend that he hasn't seen in years. So it's interesting, like when dreams come up, it's almost like the storehouse consciousness is just released and all of these things get intertwined and create some unusual experiences. Now, some people will argue, and people who study dreams and say that this is some information you need to know. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. The point is that there's this consciousness that stores everything. We could say at least since you were born. So if you look up in Buddhism, you'll see these eight consciousnesses. But what you don't really hear about too much is the ninth consciousness. If you're following my channel, tomorrow I'm releasing a video about the Zen circle. This is the teaching from Zen Master Sung Song. And I talk about this point on the Zen circle, and some people call it emptiness, but it's this experience before thinking. So this is the experience before these eight consciousnesses. By the way, if you're just joining us, welcome to the live stream. This is called The Universe is Mind Alone. If you haven't already, let us know in the chat where you are living. So what happens is these 9 consciousnesses gets unbalanced. So if I'm really focusing on myself, my happiness, I'm going to get what I want from people and things. We create an imbalance. So this is one way that people describe human dissatisfaction or human suffering. Maybe I'm just focusing on good taste. I just want to taste good things, have the best coffee and the best pizza. My wife's making pizza tonight, so that's why it's on my mind. Right? When we focus on some of these senses too, there can be an imbalance. If we live in the past, we actually go to the storehouse consciousness and try to remember things. And that's always interesting to me too, because I'm noticing lately what I remember may not be true. I know I talk a lot of, I tell a lot of stories in my videos, and I have to be honest with you, I'm not sure if they can be 100% true. That's just what I remember, or maybe that's what I made the past. So we can see that none of these things are concrete. None of these consciousnesses are concrete. This is why many people practice Zen. To realize this place before consciousness. So if you watch the video tomorrow, Kevin said, looking forward to Sung Song video tomorrow. I don't know a lot about his way of teaching. It's interesting. And it's also people may misunderstand that teaching. So if you're looking at this, the whole point of showing you this is not to give you something else to think about or a new philosophy, or a new way of looking at life. It's this way that people are looking at mind, cause and effect of this world. So that means, why are things the way they are? And why do human beings suffer? Here's another teaching that I ran into. And again, people are trying to find the source of the suffering. And this one's always interesting to me. It starts out with ignorance. Then we create these mental formations. Then consciousness appears. Then we make, name, and form. And that's followed by the six senses, which I think John mentioned. When we contact means when these six senses connect with this name and form and this quote outside world, we start creating dusts. So one way of saying it is we create delusion. And then sensation leads to desire. This grasping leads to clinging. So we have existence, life, death, or old age, birth, life, old age, sickness, and death. Again, this is the Buddhist view. And for some people, it's very helpful. On the other hand, when I first started reading this stuff, it really started maybe relieving my anxiety of suffering, especially in my early 20s. So it gave some sense of comfort, just like the line. Everything in this universe is created by mind alone. Some sense of comfort. But does that really take away human suffering? Does this take away dissatisfaction? So if you do practice Zen, or if you've been following my YouTube channel, it's always investigating this deeply until no answers appear. Let me see what's on the next page here. That's interesting. Ignorance. This refers to ignorance of the true nature of reality, including the Four Noble Truths, how the law and cause effect. It's the root cause of suffering. That's an interesting line. This is the root cause of suffering. So maybe it's just me or the curious mind I have. And maybe I know we all had that as kids. We all had this curious and open mind. And as we get older, our curiosity shrinks and our mind gets very narrow. And we look at this world with a very narrow view. And I mean, all of us. You can be looking at this through a narrow Zen view. But that's not what Zen means. Zen means see through all of this stuff. So my question is here is if ignorance is the root cause of suffering. So that's saying everything or all suffering comes from ignorance, then where does ignorance come from? Anybody know? You can put it in the chat. Right? We have the whole chain here. Life comes from existence. Existence comes from cleaning. Cleaning comes from desire. Desire comes from sensation. Sensation comes from contact. Contact, go all the way back. Ignorance. Where does ignorance come from? So this kind of question is leading us to a place where we don't know. I talk a lot about don't know in my videos. This teaching I got from Zen Master Sung Song. But don't know is very interesting Because if we really investigate, if suffering comes from ignorance, where does ignorance come from? Now, you can be clever. When I ask people this in koan interviews, they might say thinking. Okay, then where does thinking come from? Well, that's easy, mind. Okay, where does mind come from? Oh, that's easy, consciousness. Where does consciousness come from? So if we're looking at that openly, not with the narrow view, but with a wide view, and we're sincere, we come to the place of not knowing. It's not I don't know, because we don't even understand this I. TMS, ignorance is eternal. So if we look at, let's go back to this teaching. The Huayan Avantamsaka Sutra says, if you wish to thoroughly understand all Buddhas of the past, present, and future, then you should view the nature of the whole universe as being created by mind alone. But is that really true? So this is why in the tradition I teach in, the Quantum School of Zen, we do koan practice. Not to understand don't know mind. Now there's many names for don't know mind. I could look at the ninth consciousness here, consciousness, consciousness. Sorry, these words are confusing me now. So the state before thinking has many names. So I wrote it here as Buddha nature. Some people call it enlightenment. Some people call it true self, don't-know mind, beginner's mind, before thinking mind, the absolute. Some people even call it God, or at least those who practice. So what's interesting about this experience of don't know is that these 8 or 9 consciousnesses become balanced. And John mentioned earlier about these dusts that are clouding these consciousnesses. The eyes have dust, meaning we just want to see what we want to see. Or maybe we ignore something that's right in front of us. We want to hear beautiful things. We don't want to hear the cars driving by in downtown San Francisco. The nose just wants to smell wonderful things. Right? All of these have dust clouding them. So if we experience this Buddha nature or the mind before thinking, there's many names for it, then all of these things become balanced and clear. I remember my teacher told me one time, he was talking about the Heart Sutra, and there's this line that says, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. Another way of saying that is clear mind, clear nose, clear tongue, clear body. Boy, I just messed that up. But you get the point. So we have some questions to help us return to this enlightenment mind, this Buddha nature. And the first question here, let me put this in a different angle. I'll just put it up here. Are there differences between past, present, and future? So this was something, again, if you watch my video tomorrow, I talk a little bit about this, of how everything just coming from our understanding. Because if we look at the past, it's a dream. I remember at Dharma Talks, my teacher says, give me 1 second of the past right now. Put it right here. No one can do it. And the future doesn't even exist. Again, it exists in our mind. So if you're a person who has anxiety, it's because our mind is living in the future. If you're a person who has regrets, you're a person living in the past. So then someone would say, oh, okay, well, why don't you live in the present? Well, what is the present? This moment. Okay, what is this moment? Because once we say this moment, it is gone. So what this first question is really pointing to is challenging our understanding, even if it's a good understanding. It's challenging our dualistic thinking because most of us live in duality. I'm not saying that's good or bad, by the way. It just has a natural result. So, how do we pierce through this question, the past, present, and future, and express this true self or Buddha nature or these 9 consciousnesses? Everything becomes balanced, everything wakes up, and it's already clear. By the way, if anybody has any questions or comments or anything, put it in the chat. I'm around. The second question is asking, what is the nature of this whole universe? I've once heard, oh, this universe is mind. Okay, what is mind? It's Buddha nature. What is Buddha nature? So again, we live in this understanding, but how do we experience it and express it? This is really the most important. So what if we didn't make a separation between ourselves and this moment? So right now I hear birds chirping outside. So I can say, I hear the birds chirping outside. Is that really true? My daughter keeps telling me, if a tree falls down in the forest and nobody was there, does it make a sound? It's funny, this kind of looking at this world has been investigated for a long time, even way before Buddhism or Zen. TMS, time and space, are man-made. Concepts like money, country, religion, difficult to wrap our heads around, though. Yeah, and the interesting thing is that none of these things are good or bad. Many of us are attached to money, country, religion, time and space. John, yeah, where do I end and you begin? Right. So this is all words pointing to something. So if I'm sitting here listening to the birds, that's actually not correct. But if I just listen, I said I just listen, but just hearing, There's no separation between ourselves and this world. And I think this experience is very important because then we realize or perceive the connection that we have with everything else. We are not separate. But also to say, I am one with this universe is not correct. I am separate from the universe is not correct. Again, I talk about this in tomorrow's video. So this question, what is the nature of the whole universe, is pointing to that. If we take away ourselves in this moment, then what? How do you express it? So the last question here is my favorite, and it's kind of what I was thinking when I heard this teaching. Mind created everything. Then what created mind? There's a commentary in one of these kongans. I'm not sure what number it is. Leo, it's funny how it seems like a big realization, but it is at the top of my nose, but I can't feel it. But after a lot of practice, people seem to realize it all, like coming back to the beginning. Right. Sometimes we call, returning to what's already here. And we know that feeling too, because as babies, we've had this experience. But like I said, seventh consciousness appears. Ooh, I'm having a reaction to that. I don't like that. We start to believe that that is the reality of this world. So we suffer. So somebody else asked me this too. Well, what does that mean? You just walk around with no likes and dislikes and you don't get angry? Not true. You just know because of your experience, realizing that we are not separate, that it's just thinking. I don't like that one of my kids clogged the toilet. I understand that's just thinking. It's just an opinion. It's not me. It's just what it is. So when I really looked at the toilet overflowing, saw through, I don't like this. Which kid did it? It was clear. I grabbed the plunger and fixed the toilet. It's really that simple. But it's a moment to moment practice. It's not we do it one time and we're done. Because as we know, if you've taken the 4 great vows, delusions are endless. We take a vow to see through them all. Every moment there's a delusion. Dried shit on a stick. Yeah, I mean, that's a simple kongan. When I first heard that kongan, I thought it was like, Zen is bullshit. It's so esoteric. Moon said, I was asked, what is Buddha? And he said, dried shit on a stick. What the hell does that mean? Doesn't make any sense. This is ridiculous. That's how I was thinking back then. I sometimes think that Zen words are ridiculous. But something intuitively, no, wait, there's something else going on here. And if you worked with this kongan, right, you realize it. One of our questions is, what is the meaning of dried shit on a stick? Now, I can explain it. It's different from how we would answer in a koan interview. But one story goes that there's this stick, that they would use to stir the compost in the outhouse. And the stick happened to be laying against the outhouse on the wall. And the sun was very hot and bright that day. And a student asked Zen Master Uman, "What is Buddha?" And instantly he replied, "Dried shit on a stick," just reflecting the truth of this moment. So when I reflected the truth of the toilet, I grabbed the plunger and fixed the toilet. So going back to this question, mind created everything. What created mind? So I heard in Korea, this was probably in the 70s or 80s, there was a very large Buddhist conference. Many people gave talks. Tom said, "I wonder how long that shit stick was." That's your next question for you. I'll give you time to prepare for that. I'll get into that too because it's important, but I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Anyways, there was a large conference. Many Buddhist scholars and monks and Zen practitioners gave talks. And it really ended, the whole conference, it was a week long. It ended on this teaching. And the speaker concluded this whole week by saying, "If you wish to thoroughly understand all Buddhas of the past, present, and future, then you should view the nature of the whole universe as being created by mind alone." And everybody's like, "Oh, okay, we talked about the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, the 12 links that have been in our origination, the eight this, the six that, the four this is." So, whew, all right, everything's created by mind. And then in the audience, this monk's hand came up. And the speaker said, "Yes. Do you have a question?" And the monk said, "First, I want to thank you for this teaching and everybody who contributed to this week. It's been very insightful. I have a better understanding of Buddhism, cause and effect, and human suffering. But I have a question. You said the nature of this whole universe as being created by mind alone. So if mind created this whole universe, then what created mind?" Sometimes I think people get this impression that people who practice Zen are playing with words, or they're very clever, or you hear about Dharma combat, everyone's trying to step up from, with each other, show them their knowledge or their attainment, but it's really not like that. These kinds of questions comes from keeping a curious mind. You hear about kids asking, "So why is the sky blue?" Questions like this. They have a curious mind. So this monk asked, if this whole universe comes from mind, where does mind come from? There's not an answer to this. If we are looking sincerely and honestly, I wouldn't say go back to, because that's not a clear way of saying it, but we realize the don't know mind we've always had. TMS, beyond the scope of words. John, it probably depends on which end you grab. This don't know mind is inherent in all human beings. What's wonderful about this, it's not something someone can give you. You're not going to watch a video and get it. You're not going to read a book and get it. No one can give it to you, not even a Zen teacher. But also, nobody can take it away. No matter how bad people are in this world or cruel, they cannot take it away. It's already here in each moment, and our job is to realize it. Then this is where our mind opens, our view opens, the dusts disappear, and we can act intuitively moment to moment. So this kind of question, if you want to answer this question, what created mind, or where does mind come from? Then we have to use a style that brings the question back to the questioner. So Tom said, how long was that shit stick? Nobody can answer that. How long is Umun's shit stick? But there is a response that we can give that brings it back to the person. Because everybody in this world is making something, including me and you. And that's human condition. But when we start holding that, grasping after that, then we become deluded. So the first step is to return to this place before all of this stuff, before mind even appears. Then from moment to moment, how can we help? So this whole world is making something. Another kongan, like what Tom mentioned, it's we use it in our school. It's called Bodhidharma's beard. The question is, why does Bodhidharma have no beard? Right? This is not, again, a clever question or a question to make you think more. It's not a riddle. It means that somebody's making something. I am. I'm asking you, why did Bodhidharma have no beard? So usually in today's world, and it's been going on for a while, I just said today's world because it's happening right now. Everyone's making something, and we just argue with each other. Bodhidharma has a beard. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. Look, I have a picture right here. See, I got proof. What if we took what somebody made and turned it around just enough and gave it back? This is very powerful. This is what we call hitting their mind. One analogy a Zen master told me is somebody shoots an arrow at you. You don't shoot your own arrow. You catch theirs first and just send it back. Because this, first of all, makes a connection. When we argue, it just both people get more angry, hold on to their ideas even more, and there's a much bigger disconnection. If we agree with someone that we really don't agree with, that's also a problem. So what do? If we're not going to agree or argue, how can we hit their mind so their mind wakes up from this dream? Or maybe, since we've been talking about it, their dusts clear from their senses at that moment. So if I ask you, why does Bodhidharma have no beard? How can you take that, turn it a little bit, and send it back where it hits me and I end up going, "Ah." Because you're just using what they made. That makes the connection with you and the other person. We call it a mind-to-mind connection. They made it, and you're using what they made. but you're just twisting it a little bit to help them return to this mind that doesn't know. Whoops, what was that? Um, not sure what happened here. Sorry about that. All right, how to use a different camera. So maybe this is a good example. It looked like my camera overheated. I always have technical issues. I try to upgrade my equipment. I don't have much money to do it, but because of the support from Patreon and other means, I invest in new stuff and it still fails. Overheated. So maybe this is a good example to tie all of this up. The camera overheating and shutting off is the truth. Most of the time, we have no control of the truth. But we do have some say in our relationship. There's the truth and there's how we relate to it. So it'd be very easy, like freaking camera overheated again. This happened before, by the way. I'm trying to do a live stream here. This is unprofessional. That's all fine. But now what? How do we respond to the truth in a way that's clear and helpful? So my first thought was, damn, this camera again? Then, now what? So I grabbed up my Logitech webcam. Does this even look good? I'm just curious. Should I even use the other camera? I'm not even sure if there's a difference in quality. It seems like there is in the recordings. Jammin' Jones, I hope you enjoy your pizza. I'm hoping that too, actually. Every Thursday night, Kendra makes pizza. John, camera's having a hissy? Yeah. Diana, hey, Diana, it's good to see you here. I'm glad you chimed in. She's on Facebook, so I'm reading your comment because people on YouTube can't read it. Thank you, Jason. Cesare, camera is also created by mind. Tom, internal temp high, allow it to cool down. Never say that to your girlfriend. So that's where wisdom comes in. So I think that the last part of this stream was titled, let's see, The Universe is Mind Alone, a deep dive into wisdom, because really that's what all of this is about. Accessing the wisdom that's already here. Learning to be skillful in our lives from moment to moment, and we don't always succeed. Even if we make a mistake or fail, can we also see that as truth, learn something from it, which increases our wisdom? Otherwise, what's the point? Meditation can be a hobby. It can be something we believe in. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but it has a bigger purpose. And all the teachings I shared today have a bigger purpose. coming back. Let me rephrase that. Realizing the dono mind that's already here. So we can see truth and respond skillfully. Okay, everyone. Boy, I went over time. I usually don't do this. Thank you so much. And Adam, is this another, I forgot what you call it, super chat? Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Adam also does this in some of my videos. I guess there's a way if you're watching a video to make a contribution to this project that I'm doing. All of this goes to upgrading equipment, what you see, being able time to record videos, do the editing, do live streams. I'm hoping to do a workshop when the schedule opens up. But I really appreciate all of you for being here today. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your great questions and comments. Every time I do these streams, I leave remembering why I do what I do. Team S says, thank you. Kevin says, yes, thank you, Jason. John says, thank you, Jason, and everyone. Kwanzaa Bosa. Thank you all. Have a clear day, everybody.